Hello YouTube, this is the Car Connoisseur, and what we have for you today is a 1986 300 SL. As you can see, the car is beautiful with its graceful, elegant styling, and graceful lines. Um, it's a very beautiful car. It's a Grand Tour Roadster. These cars were, as most people would dub, the alimony cars. These were primarily owned by kept women, quote unquote. Not trying to be gender biased, but a lot of women did own this car. I mean, I like the car. I still want it, because this was one of the cars that first turned me on to Mercedes. It was I said mine, I think was the 560 SL. Um, and just the ride, I was like 6 years old, and I knew that when I got in this car that it was different from your average Chevy, Pontiac, like they're up. So it was just a ride, and I guess later on I found out that it was somewhat of a status symbol to own a Mercedes. But this car, they spanned for about 12 years, from 1972 to 1989. You've seen these cars in various movies, Beverly Hills Cop, um, just Down and Out in Beverly Hills. It was just uh, the car to have, back then. This is a Norev model, a Norev version. As you can see, doors open, which is typical of Norev. Um, it has a 3.0 liter V6 engine. Now this was one of the slower models. They had the 500, but unfortunately, people in the U.S. back then couldn't have the 500 due to regulations and stuff. So that was considered a gray market car. But then later on, the answer, Mercedes had the answer for that, and the answer was the 560 SL. That was the faster one. But actually, from what I found out recently, was that the 500 was actually faster. Go figure. So it was faster uh, in the Euro, in Germany and stuff like that. So this is the 300. But this car was had a long span. I believe Bruno Sacco did do some of the designing on this, and then they had a chief engineer who I think his name was Rudolph something like that. But you guys could look it up. And I know one thing. I know that in 1989, North kind of messed up a little bit, because if you really are true connoisseurs of this car, you'd know that by this being an 86, they didn't make the wheels like this. They didn't have the the rims, or I guess these are hubcaps or rims like this. They had the bunt cake wheels, and so they made the bunt cake wheels from the 70s all the way up to the mid 80s, and then when they got past 85, 86, then they made the what you see here, and then they added a light, a brake light, a rear brake light, and that was due to U.S. regulations. This one has the Euro bumpers on it, as you can see. Um, U.S. we had like obese bumpers, as you can see. They were more bubbled and elongated in the front and the back. But it's a nice model. It's a pretty good model. Like I said, a lot of women own this car. Like I said, kept women, women that are taken care of. Men own it too. Now, I mean, I'm not trying to be gender biased, like I said, but it was a car that I would hope to one day want to obtain in my collection, given the opportunity. You can get them for pretty cheap, but I guess the lower the miles, the more expensive it's going to be quite naturally. But yeah, this is a 300 SL, and this is my beauty. I named her. Her name is Naomi, and I'll probably get one just like this, same color and all. The real one. Name her. You know. So this is it. The trunk does open. If I can open it, let's see. Let's see if I can get it open here. Let's see. Yeah, see the trunk does open. Unfortunately, it doesn't have carpet in it, but it's still a great brand, a great model, very crafted very well. Paint job is exceptional. I like the close attention to the detail on the wiper blades. They're actually realistic. Everything is realistic. Oh, it has carpet in the inside. I didn't even pay attention to that. So it does have carpet in the inside, but it lacks carpet in the trunk space, which is kind of weird. But hey, and then it has the instrument cluster in there, as you can see, which I think they did a wonderful job on that. And then the center console, the buttons and stuff, and even the symbol on the steering wheel. And the one thing I like about these cars is that for it to be a retro car, even back then it had that classic look. That was what I liked about it. It's a classic looking type of car with updated with uh, good safety features, with date safety features. The up to date safety features. I mean, the anti-lock brakes, ABS. That was in this car. Way back then, and so this is what you were paying for, and that's why these cars cost what I think this was like $80,000, to the tune of $80,000 back then. So you were paying for that, and it did its due diligence. This car. So if you have a car like this in your collection, you will be deemed the true car connoisseur if you like Mercedes or whatever, because this is a collector's car now. They're going up in value. Me particularly, I like the 560. A little bit harder on gas, but it's a Grand Tour car, and you don't really drive these hard. You don't drive them to race because it's not really a race car. It's not meant for that. It's a Grand Tour. It's made to cruise. You know, with your lady, stuff like that, summer days. The one thing I like about it, because I'm kind of old fashioned, even though I'm not old, but I like the fact that you could take the top off manually. I think that's nice. That's real classy to me, I mean, all classy people don't just, let everything press a button and everything happens for them. I just think you have to actually have some gumption, some gall to be able to do that. So, people are like, yeah, whatever, But yeah, this is a nice model, you know. Got it at a decent price, and yeah, this is like I said, this is the Mercedes that got me introduced to Mercedes, and this will be my first one next to the 560 SEL that I would get, So pretty good. Well, comment, subscribe if you have any other questions or anything that you would like to see, primarily from Mercedes or any other things. Like I said, I'll be at your disposal. I do answer questions and comments and all that. So if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, feel free. Talk to you later.